Some Lebanese banks shutting down indefinitely because their own clients are coming to retrieve the cash, their own cash, mind you, from said bank. So this is something that Westerners have a hard time with, grappling with, dealing with, understanding, because Westerners, and especially Americans, have had it good for so long. Such little strife in their lives overall in the macro that they couldn't even comprehend what's going on in some places in the world, whether it's Venezuela or Argentina or Lebanon or Syria, Turkey, and many others. But these banks shutting down because people are coming to take their own cash, their own container for their time and energy that they have spent, toiled away, and put in this container they thought was money, but it was really currency. That was the problem. That was their mistake. That was the clients of the banks, the consumer, the everyday person. That was their mistake. They trusted governments. They trusted politicians. They trusted banksters. They trusted someone that was counterfeiting currency units in the basement, literally, and saved those instead of saving real money. Now, if you would have saved gold and silver over the course of the last, couple hundred years, or Bitcoin over the last 14 years, you would be making out. You would be keeping up with inflation. You would not be censored. You wouldn't be frozen on the system. You wouldn't have anyone telling you where you couldn't or could not spend something. And there'd be no middlemen in your life. That's the problem with fiat currencies. That's the problem with government-run currencies. I put a tweet out the other day that got a lot of airtime or play, but it was a little bit of a hat tip to Saifedean Ammous, who said something that I've been thinking about and talking about for the last few years, and he said it in a different way, and then I kind of rephrased what he said. But the governments of the world have only been in existence for a period of time, right? Money existed well before governments of the world. Governments of the world in the future will collapse, and money will be here long after those governments collapse. So why in the present are we allowing governments, politicians, bankers to print currency up in the basement? Literally printing currency up in the basement. Guys on computers now, used to be a printing press, but now guys on the computers just typing digits into a computer, or commercial banks typing digits that they don't have, giving out loans to someone for a jet ski, a car, a home that no one has the money for, just creating debt out of nowhere. Why do we allow those people to issue currency in the present? If the past, where money existed before governments, and in the future, where money will exist after governments collapse, why are we giving them the ability to control our currency now, our money now, and counterfeit it into existence? That's the question I have for you. Why are we allowing ourselves to do that? Why? Matthew Crider had a great video as well talking about taking profits on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the hardest asset to ever exist. There will only be 21 million Bitcoin. Again, I have yet, now in a year or two of doing this channel, I have yet to have someone come and say to me, hey, Brandon, I found another finite asset besides time and Bitcoin. I don't know of any. There are no other finite assets. We only had time before. Now we have an equal representation of Bitcoin. 2 finite assets. So if you're going to work every single day and you're leaving your family, your children, your wife, your kids, your husband, and your parents, your grandparents, your family members, brothers and sisters, and you're going and expecting a trade for that time, why would you trade your finite time that you can never get more of for infinite pieces of paper or infinite digits in a computer? That makes no sense. You're trading a finite asset for an infinite liability. That literally is the worst trade you could ever make in your life. And this is exactly why people get poor and poor and poor. And some of you that have been around for a while might say, wow, Brandon, this is getting really annoying. It's getting old. You've been talking about this for a long time. And yeah, it's very annoying. But the basics are how we get better. The fundamentals. Again, playing hockey my entire life, playing professional hockey, we worked on the basics. I also had one of my good friends was an Army Ranger, and he talked about the difference between us and just the regular infantry is that we did the same thing, the same tactics, we just executed at a higher level. Same thing with hockey. The guys in the NHL just execute at a higher level more consistently than the guys did in college, than the guys did in junior, the guys did when you're an amateur growing up. That's the difference. It's not that you're doing some funky, crazy mathematical gymnastics, and that's why people are super rich. Some of it is, right? There's financialization, there's financial weapons of mass destruction, derivatives, all this stuff, right? There's very smart people doing that. Don't get me wrong. However, my point is, you can just be the average person working on Wall Street. Again, some say maybe that's not an average person, but you can be just a normal person working on Wall Street, working at McDonald's, being a plumber, being an optometrist, being an attorney, being a school teacher. And if you save in the right asset, not a liability, not dollars, not fiat currencies, but if you save assets, if you saved maybe gold and silver, or even if you saved oil or uranium, again, how are you going to get that? But if you save Bitcoin, if you save the hardest asset known to man, something you can't get more of, there's nothing that anyone can do. No one can take it from you if you self-custody it in cold storage. No one can take it from you. No one can print anymore as it goes up in value over time because there's less and less over time. That is the only trade. That's the only trade. Why in the world do so many people still make this trade? People fight you on it, right? It's from the Matrix when Morpheus is talking to Neo and saying people are so hopelessly dependent on this system that they will fight you to keep it. They will fight you to stay in slavery. They will fight you to stay in bondage. And that's what we have now. You are born. I had 4 children over the last 7 years. And as soon as first 24 hours, here you are. Here's their social security number. Got to get their name in there. And got a social security number. And it always felt disgusting. Disgusting. Like they're just a number. They're just a cog in the wheel to you. They're just in a little pod in the Matrix. And they're just pumping out energy for you, huh? They're just there. And that's what the social security number is. It's a debt number. You are being assigned your debt at birth. And you can go to usadebtclock.org. I believe it's usadebtclock.org. And you can go check that out. And you see right there, average debt per citizen, average debt per taxpayer. Right there, you're assigned at birth, your debt. That's what the Social Security number is for. To assign that, hey, we're in this Ponzi scheme together. And we're going to be paying off the people that are at the top. And on and on and on. But there's no money in there. There's very little money. There's only $3 trillion or so in there. And it's going insolvent in the next 10 years, which, again, go back. We did a video exactly a year ago, about how if you put 1% up to 10% of the Social Security trust in Bitcoin right now, so about $30 billion, and I forget what it is, 1 million Bitcoin or whatever it is. I can't remember exact numbers, or 100,000 Bitcoin. That would literally, if Bitcoin went to 1 million, in 10 years from now, you would triple, 5x the Social Security fund just with a 1 to 10% allocation, just depending on the numbers. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but go watch that video. Go look at the blog. I did the link in the description of the blog, or the article I wrote about this. Mind blowing. But yet we're going to keep doing the same stupid, idiotic thing over and over and over again. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What are we doing? Why would we not change things up? Why do we keep... We got to get the fundamentals down, right? John Wooden, the famous coach that has, I believe, 10 NCAA basketball titles, always worked on the fundamentals, right? Some of the greatest coaches in sports history always worked on the fundamentals, right? If you're a hockey player, you have to learn how to skate. You have to continue working on your skating. You got to work on your hands. You got to work on your vision. You have to work in these fundamentals. You can do all these fancy plays. It's not going to matter, though, if you can't skate, you can't handle the puck, if you can't keep your head up, you're going to get clobbered. That's why it's so important. That's why we go over the basics, because most people don't know the basics still. I've been fortunate just because I've learned the basics over the last 12, 14 years. It took me a long time to just actively see, oh my gosh, we're in this crash as I'm leaving Michigan State University and saying, this uniparty being unveiled to me is all this. It's not red versus blue, it's a state versus you. The battle now is orange versus green. It's Bitcoin versus fiat. This is the battle we're in. And until we recognize this, until we have the fundamentals down, we're going to have to continue going on this every single day until people are woken up. And I say it the right way. Someone says it the right way, right? We all start coming together. We all start pushing this rock up this hill, the Bitcoin asset up the hill and up over the other side. Once we get to the 3%, where the Revolutionary War, like we talk about, the 3% pushed enough and started winning enough where other people started joining in on the fight. And we're all part of this fight. Anyone watching right now is part of this fight, right? We're part of this 3%. And my thing is, I hope more and more people choose to write a blog, to choose to do YouTube videos, to choose to do Rumble videos, Facebook, Instagram, put out Snapchat, whatever it is. Do things, put out a Substack, and go and spread the message. Because the faster we have this, the faster we have abundance and prosperity for all people in the world. This is not just like a, hey, I'm going to get rich, Brandon's going to get rich. If we win, if we, as Corey Clipson says, if we avoid the war, we win this race to avoid the war, we're home. We're home free. We have abundance of prosperity. Governments of the world they conform now to the people. They work at the consent of the governed. They have to, because they have no control of the purse strings anymore. That's, as Thomas Jefferson said and many of our founding fathers wrote about, government should not be in control of the purse strings. Do not let that happen. And we've done exactly that. So I'll finish with Lebanese banks, again, collapsing, going under, closing indefinitely. That can happen here. The FDIC insurance warned us in November. We played this a video on this channel. They warned us about this in the end of last year, saying there could be bail-ins, people coming in and the bank shutting down, and no one needs to know though. They're roundtable. These people, they're so smart. No one needs to know though. Your time and your energy stored up in the bank you think is safe couldn't be further from the truth. Could not be further from the truth. We have to start working on the fundamentals and enlightening ourselves, enlightening others around us to spread this message. The rich men in Richmond video that just came out, the I forget his name now, but that video just went viral. This is the fourth turning happening. This is art and culture, Bitcoin trading cards, what we're working on, the art matched with the education, and then music. These things all coming together where they're going viral, and people are been yearning for truth. That's why RFK is doing well. That's why Vivek is doing well, because they're speaking truth. They're not giving answers. They're just questioning with boldness. So this is the importance of what we are all doing here together. Bar none, this is the most important thing we could be doing. This is the greatest game, what Jeff Booth says. So I appreciate you being here. Please share this out. Don't be trapped in a bank. Don't be trapped in a bank. A company that's out lending as a private money lender. You're a private money lender to the bank, and they're out gambling with your currency. Hopefully you get it back. They might shut down. They might confiscate it. If the government says confiscate it, they confiscate it. Don't be that person. Get your Bitcoin, get your fiat into Bitcoin, get Bitcoin into self-custody, and be your own bank. Be your own self-sovereign individuals. Please share this out. Algorithm hates truth. Cannot stand truth. Appreciate you being here. Trust but verify. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.